Cancel. Cancel. Return. Return. Invitation. Invitation. Precise. Precise. Formal. Formal. Apparent. Apparent. Departure. Departure. Visual. Visual. Current. Current. Agriculture. Agriculture. Leap. Leap. Portion. Portion. Trend. Trend. Particle. Particle. Right. Right. Distinct. Distinct. Component. Component. Poverty. Poverty. Sculpture. Sculpture. Descend. Descend. Universal. Universal. Surface. Surface. Eager. Eager. Legal. Legal. Annual. Annual. Trap. Trap. Demonstrate. Demonstrate. Companion. Companion. Democracy. Democracy. Mature. Mature. Brilliant. Brilliant. Faith. Faith. Aim. Aim. Spare. Spare. Transfer. Transfer. Oppose. Oppose. Desperate. Desperate. Remote. Remote. Offend. Offend. Await. Await.